everybody, and welcome to the Sketchbook review, and after that, the question and answers. I hope you are all here and set for the evening. Those of you that don't know me, I am Adebanji Alade, popularly known as the Addictive Sketcher. Well, my business has always been sketching, and I have sketched for almost 45 years now. I'm 53, and I think it's been since I've been so young. So I've got a lot of skills, a lot of techniques, a lot of tips, a lot of just little things that I can use to help anyone who wants to, up their game in the sketch business. That's what I would say. So welcome to this sketchbook. I will call it it's just a go through my sketchbooks, and after that you can see and ask any questions you want, and let's take it from there. Don't forget, guys, do not forget, after looking at my sketches, you might be wondering, what is this all about? I will be sharing the skills, the techniques I use in my sketchbooks during Sketch Week. And Sketch Week is from August 11th to the 15th. Every day, UK time will be 7:30 every evening from Monday to Friday. We will be working on themes like portraits, figures, landscapes, animals, and even more portraits. All the skills to sketch them, and it's purely online, so you can come through, register from all over the world. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you will be able to enjoy this. Just to let you know a little bit more about me, I have written 3 books. One of them is called The Addictive Sketcher. You can get that on Amazon. The other one is called Addictive, which is a whole sketchbook of mine that was published. We're going to go through a little bit about that tonight because it's all about our sketchbooks. And we also have the last one, which is a painting one. It's Painting People and Places. All these books I've written, but the basis of all of them is sketching. I'm also the one-show artist. I love to present art documentaries, and most of the time you will see me sketching and presenting on the One Show with BBC One. Apart from that, I am the president of the Royal Institute of Oil Painters. It's a well-known institute. It's been in existence for over 100 years plus, and I'm the president for now. Also, I teach, in a whole community of sketchers. We call it the Addictive Sketchers Movement. It was founded 2 years ago. But today, it's all about Sketch Week. And if you haven't registered yet, it's £10 for a whole week or $13 for a whole week. We will be sketching every single day. Each day takes about 90 minutes. 1 hour for the sketching, 30 minutes for questions and answers afterwards. You can't afford to miss it. If you are watching this on YouTube, just click on the link in my bar on the comments. There would be somewhere where a member of my team would have put the link for you to join Sketch Week, because you can't afford to miss it. Now, let's go into action. Before I start, I want you to know that all the sketches that I'm going to show you in my sketchbooks, most of them, I would say 95% of these sketches, all done from life. So I would either be on the train, the tube, airports, public places, and I'll be armed with a lot of materials. So let's go, and I'll be explaining as I go along. Hope you enjoy this. I'm going to change cameras now. Okay, so this sketchbook is a moleskin sketchbook, right? This is a moleskin sketchbook. I love the moleskin. I would take this on the tube. It's quite big. I didn't start off with this, but this is a typical example. I always put my address and all that, so in case it gets missing. And this is a typical sketchbook. I'm going to position it so that you can see the whole sketchbook clear and clean. Right, I think I have it fully in the picture here. So all the sketches on this page have been sketched in colored pencil. Colored pencil. And the key thing is, when I'm on the train or the tube or the bus or anywhere I find myself, I want to make sure that I train my eye-hand coordination. I'm going to be walking you through. So all these are colored pencil. I prefer colored pencils because they don't rub. You can see me, it doesn't rub. I can put my hands on this page and it's not going to be rubbing, and I like that. And then most of this is all colored pencil. This happened when I was on the train going somewhere, and these girls were all going to Glastonbury, and I sketched all of them right where they were. I was in the train, they were in the train, and that. This is a scene from my church in Portland. I sketched it. You know, this is the church and the scene. We'll be doing landscapes also, things like this in Sketch Week, and I will show how I go about that. So this is a typical sketch, as you can see in my sketchbook. I'll sketch faces. These two children came up to me while I was sketching, and I sketched them. And these are more sketches of the campgrounds in my church. And these are some of the children that came up to me while I was sketching. I'm using black colored pencil here. I like it because it's powerful, it's punchy, and it works well, and it doesn't rub that easy. And these are more sketches I have done of my church in America, the campgrounds. Even more sketches done. Look at this, all more sketches. All this is done in pen and ballpoint pen and Tombow markers. I'm going to show you the colored pencils that I use so that you can see. So mostly I will be using a Derwent drawing colored pencil. I've put that there, and I sharpen them with a cutter, which I just misplaced my cutter all of a sudden, but once I can locate it, I will be bringing it into the picture. So this is what I would normally use to do these ones. You can see the marks are the same, you know. You can see me, I can add more shade to that, so the marks will be the same. And for this too, it will be colored pencils. So I'm going to put that aside here. But for this particular one, I will be using something like this. They're Tombow markers, N65 and N75. These markers, I will show you the effects they make. These particular markers, they're really great. The N65 is darker, and then the N75 is lighter. I'm just going to get an N75. The N stands for neutral. It means it's like a neutral color, which is a gray. And I use that in combination with a black ballpoint pen. I'm just going to get the whole black ballpoint pen. I can get one out of here. So, for instance, this is, you can see this is a black ballpoint pen here. I can use it to make lines. And when I want to get tones, this will be the N65, which is darker. As you see the mark there. And this is the N75, which is a bit lighter. They give lovely tones. It's like you use a wash. So I've sketched a bit of architecture here and a lot of leaves and just lovely the leaves around my camp, the campgrounds church in Portland, Oregon. And now this is all about me using my sketchbook, teaching people blind contour. I tell people the best way to learn how to see is, train your eyes, which means that when you want to sketch something, just don't look at what you're sketching. Focus on the sketch and just try and do the outline of it without looking at the paper. That's why it's called blind contour. Do that for 5 minutes every day. You're gonna see that you're gonna train your eyes, and it will help your eyes to be to see things better. And so I teach people that. And then these are all sketches I've done on the tube, all with the ballpoint pen. Again, I'm bringing this in, and 2 markers. These dual markers are called Tombow markers, and I've used them effectively in my sketchbook. I've added a little bit of wash and a bit of blue colored pencil, and a bit of another toned Tombow marker, but this time it's 992, and then the other one is just going to bring the other one into the picture. I use 992 and 942. These are browns. That's why this has a little bit of brown feel to it. So I'm going to show you that. So for instance, you can see this face now. I'm going to tone it. You can see I can tone it. Look at that. I've toned the face with a bit of the brown. You can see how that goes immediately. That was with the 992. And then I can get a lighter bit on the hair, and that's the 942. So these are the ones I use mostly in my sketchbook. The 942, the 992, N75, and N65. And I would always be using those brown ones with a brown ballpoint pen. So if you see a brown ballpoint pen like the marks I'm making there, these are, in fact, I would say I've used these more than anything else in all my using of sketches. So I'm going to put these aside. These are my materials that I use the most. And that's what I've used here. The N75, N65, just working, people on the tube. Here I'm actually teaching people how to sketch in my school. And then this is brown colored pencils. So I also would use brown colored pencils. There went brown. That would be sanguine. And the chocolate, sanguine red. And then the chocolate one, which is a very deep brown. So you're also going to get that. I'm looking for one just around in my whole pile. Yeah, that's a chocolate. So, whoops, that's all gone down. So I've got this brown, let's put it here. So here I have like the chocolate. I would have sepia, and I would have sanguine. All these lovely colors I would use while sketching, and they work. So I'm going to put those aside too. All of this, working through my sketchbooks, constantly sketching. I'll try to sketch someone first and then do it again and again. It's the same lady, but I'm never satisfied. Always thinking, I thought I got it better the first time, then the second time, and the third time. And, I call it here, I've written something in the book here. I've said practice, practice, practice. Nothing takes the place of practice. So, and then also I use hatching, which I'm showing here. These are some images. I'm doing a critique for the members of my school. And these are some more critiques from the members of my school. Then I show my basic sketching materials: pencil, colored pencil, Tombow, dual wash pens. That's what I'm showing here. So these are the marks they make. That's the N675, N65, and these are the marks. Colored pencil, and I also use graphite. And the pencils I like to use are the jumbo ones, which is like 4B here, and another a 2B here, and a 6B and an 8B. That's the pencil. So it's the pencils here, the colored pencils here, and then the Tombow markers here. This is all my love for sketching. This will be my go-to materials: pencils, colored pencils, Tombow, and all. Okay, enough of this sketchbook. I'm going to show you the different sizes of sketchbooks I use. Now, that was a moleskin one. And now if you notice, then these sketchbooks, they all then go in different sizes. You've got an 8x10, you've got maybe this one which is A5, and then a very small one which might be 6x4. They're different sizes, but if I open each one of them, you are going to see the same thing, the same things inside. The smaller ones, they help you to be a little bit more you know, you're not in people's faces. So that's why I started off using small ones on the public transport, and as I went along, I found out that I felt more confident and I would increase them. So let's go for the smallest. So I always put my details there, and you can see what I've sketched someone with the Tombow markers that I showed you, remember? And then I've written, this was a sketch of a very beautiful lady, very attractive and classy. She was soft-spoken and just went through the newspapers pages with a bit of carelessness. I don't think she was really interested in reading, but I was interested in sketching. So, you know, I've written that, and it's my first sketch I've done. These are just sketches of people's feet. Sometimes you might not be confident to do the faces, then you just sketch feet. I've said I've managed to get 2 shots at this. It's always good to pop out of one's comfort zone and do something different. Just before going on the train that is to Belvedere, I had another crack. So people's feet. And then this is another one. People sleeping. They're the best people to sketch, you know. I said I should have been a little bit faster. I really loved his face and the way it looked. That's for this guy. But I think he got off too early. I've written again what I've used: Tombow N75 and N65. And these are just how I fill up my sketchbook, you know, the smaller ones. This is very small. It's like, what is the actual size of this one? Yeah, 4x6, 4 inches by 6 inches. Very small, very, very small. You can see it in comparison to my hand, how small it is. And I would just sketch. Sometimes I don't finish. Look at this one. I haven't even finished the sketch. But the key thing is, because they moved, I'm not working from imagination. So if they move, I stop and I start again. And that is the way it goes, you know. I've written here, sometimes just the shape tells the story. So this is how I use the small ones. This is someone's hands. They're working on a tablet. So this is the way I run all what I do with my sketches. I'm just taking you through. I saw a baby. Remember, I would never be satisfied with one. I go from one to the other to the other. It's the same baby, but it's different shots, you know. So, and this is from Greenwich to Plumstead. On the train from Greenwich to Plumstead, I would say that's about 15 minutes. So I had that time to do these. And these are just with ballpoint pens, straight on, no messing about. Right. I'm going to stop with this sketchbook and then go to the next size up, which is a moleskin one. This moleskin size sketchbook, I started off with graphite. So you can see inside, this is pure graphite. When I say graphite, what I mean are these pencils, right? 2B pencils. I would use them. It's not the best because they rub a bit, you know. So I would just shift to my ballpoint pen, which is my most comfortable one, and then the Tombow ones. You can see how I've used them, you know, in the sketchbook. All this is done from observation. I'm gonna stop here. I've just seen one of the most gorgeous looking ladies on the train this morning. I have sketched her twice here and once on the other page. So that's one and that's one. So she must have been sleeping, you know, sketching, and you know, we see these people we might never see again, and that's it. So I'm just walking you through the next size up. Ballpoint pen, brown ballpoint pen here. Look at the sketches, just different people doing their thing. They'll be in there, you know. People sometimes ask me, they say, the people you sketch on the tube, do they not kind of like resist and whatever? And I tell them, yes, some people, they don't say they don't like it, and I stop. But most of the time, I give them the sketchbook. I just hand it over to them and let them know that I'm an artist and I like to practice. And this is the only way I can improve my art, because I'm a painter and I have to sketch before painting. And this is the only way I can improve. And, you know, people, once they know the reason why you're doing something and you're not some kind of dodgy person, they'll be fine. And so this is the one I've done here. And now I'm going to go to the next size up, which is, I think these ones, this is a Dalla Rowney. When it comes to size, I'm not quite sure of the size of this one, but it looks like 8x6. That's what it looks like. So, you know, again, I'll put my details and sketching. Same thing, just all the way through. You can see how I didn't finish this, you know, done the outline with the Tombow markers. That means I'll be using these kind of ones and a brown ballpoint pen. That's what I'll use for that. And for this, I'll be using this, and that. So you can see what makes each one, you know. So why am I showing you this? Because these are all done in quick succession, fast stuff. But in Sketch Week, which is taking place from August the 11th to 15th, you're going to see how I approach this. A bit slower, more calculated, and you can see how I go about it. So we will be doing this every single day from Monday to Friday, August 11th to 15th, and you're going to see how I go about it. It only costs £10 to register. Tell your friends, tell your fellow students, tell your amateur, hobbyist, professional, whatever. All of us have the opportunity to pep up our sketch ability and go for it. Now, again, sometimes I use watercolor wash. So this is like a still life in my sketchbook. And we do a lot of man-made objects in my school. So here it was just my desk, and I just did washes with watercolor, and I went for that. And the watercolor that I normally use when I'm moving about, because there's a lot, I'm just going to try and make sure I find that one to show you. If I can't find it, I'll leave it to later on. But if I can, I'll bring it through. No, I don't think I can see it very clearly here. So, but it's a very nice portable little set that I take around if I'm going to do watercolors, and that will be it. And then back to my comfort colored pencils. As you can see, I did a little bit of this must have been graphite here. That's why it rubbed. That's why I don't like the graphite in the sketchbooks, but I can do it for majors. And then this will be a London skyline, a little bit of more, and then back to my comfortable Tombow markers. You're now conversant with that. You can see how I've said the 942. This will be 992. The N75 mixed with the brown. I'm testing things out, and these are the faces all in the sketches. So this is a lifelong skill, guys. It's a lifelong skill that you're just gonna find out that once you develop a habit like this, once you once you can develop a habit like this, you will find out that you will develop something that will be a lifelong skill. So those of you that are listening and you might be interested in joining up with me in August when I teach these techniques and skills, well, go into the chat on YouTube right now. You would see a link. I think it's either at the bottom of this in the comment section or to the side, and click on it and log on. It's £10 to register for the whole week, or $13, guys. It's more than worth it, where we share these skills to help each other improve. I've got 2 more minutes before we go into the questions, and I'm just going to lead you to the next size up, which is an 8x10. This one is a Stillman and Burn sketchbook, you can see, and the same thing. This one, I'll bend it this way. This is a little bit of a more of a study there, and this is a landscape. I'm going to turn it around. I think that was in Norway, Ognatum. And back to my normals, the faces, the people I see on a public transport, and you can see me using these techniques. Sometimes I might forget my sketchbook and I use the newspaper, and then I'll go back and stick it into the sketchbook like this, because you don't want to miss the opportunity. That's the beauty of sketching. So I forgot my sketchbook on this day, and then I've done the sketch on a newspaper, which in London you get these newspapers on the underground, on the tube. Did it and then came back and pasted it in there. This is all Tombow markers. The browns I've used here, and I think I've also used another one called Zig, which I don't normally use, but this is the Zig. It's a darker one. You can see the tip, and some other lighter Zig colors that I would use. And this is it. So just again walking you through a larger one, but you're going to see that the same thing goes along. I'm using every opportunity to sketch something, sketch someone. Some of them are complete, some of them are not. That's not the point. The point is, can I train my eyes and hands to see? Can I do it? Can I make this keep happening? Once I'm able to do that, I am improving my eye-hand coordination, which for a representational painter is key. That's a car there. So it's all these things help. So thank you for following me through this whole journey where I've taken you through my sketchbook. I am now going to take questions, all right? So I'm going to change cameras, and I am going to take questions, all right, from you guys, just to find out how you know. So please put your questions in the comment section, and I will be taking those questions right now. So a member of my team is collating the questions. And now I'm going to just go straight into answering all these questions. Please put your questions right now, because I'm taking them right from the beginning. First one I've seen here: what brand of colored pencils do you prefer? I would say I do prefer the what's it called again? Because I've got two that I prefer. One of them is Polychromos. I like it. It's hard, it's sturdy, and I also like the Derwent drawing. But recently I've also discovered where is it? I'm just gonna show you one I discovered recently, which is the Caranda Arch Luminance. They're all professional, soft colored pencils. The pigment is rich. It's really good. I love them as well, but I do find some will smear. Yes, some will smear. That's why it's good to test them out and find out which one works for you. how important is it to have an electric eraser for Sketch Week? I would say it is important. I use the Derwent where is it? I always have one trusty one in here. I use the Derwent one here, and it helps. I will show you an example of where I've used it so that you can see in the last sketch week we did. Hopefully you would see. Okay, I'm going to change cameras so you can see what I'm talking about and what we did in the last sketch week, and you're going to see all the marks I did. So this, for example, is the last sketch week we did. I showed them how I sketched this man. You can see all the lines, the what I'm teaching them, external lines. But why am I answering this question is the someone asks about how important is the electric eraser. Well, I'm going to show you how important this is. If I've done a mark and I want to take out some lines, look at this. Look at that. It just makes it far more easier. Look at that. I've got a highlight right in there. So beautiful. So it's good for highlights. If you want to take out highlights, let's say I wanted to make a white streak right through this. I could take my time, go through this, and really get the streak of the line in. Look at that. So that's why it's important, and I hope that answers the question. The next one here says, do you ever have cause to sketch in courtroom settings? No, because the courtroom people, they sketch from imagination. You cannot write or sketch in the court from observation. For UK, I don't know in America, but for UK, but what they do, they have a different skill from mine. They will be in the court, watch it, then they go out and draw from their memory. It's crazy. I'm not there yet. All right. Will we be told in advance what kit we would need for each session? These markers are not mentioned at all in the advertised materials. Thank you. For Sketch Week, because it's bringing people from all walks of life into something new, I would not be using any other materials in Sketch Week apart from the pencils, which I've put here. So last year, you can see what we did. They saw how I sketched this. The people who registered on the first day, they got a bonus. They saw how I sketched that. So we always be using pencils, guys. So don't worry about too much. I just wanted to show you what I use on a general basis. But this is kind of like, or, you know, we'll only use, and with the pencil, you can work magic, you know, so that's what I've used here. I hope that helps that question from the person who asked it. Got more coming. Do people on the tube often notice you sketching them? Do they ever react poorly? I think I answered this question during the walk through my sketchbook, and I said, you know what, some people, yes, they might not be happy, but I give them the sketchbook when I see a frown on their face. And the next thing they will ask, because I heard this over, you know, remember I've been doing this for over 25 years, so they'll on the tubes in London, so they'll ask me, so why do you do this? And I simply explain to them, I'm an artist. I want to improve my sketching. Sketching helps me a lot in my paintings. It makes me improve my eye-hand coordination, and I can't just work from photos. I need to work from life. This is why I do it. While I'm talking and explaining with them, note one thing, the sketchbook is in their hands, so they can notice and see that I have no hidden agenda, and that's fine. But I must say, only 2 times in 25 years has someone wanted to take my life for sketching on the tube. The percentage is very low. It wasn't down to me. They're probably having a bad day. All right, let's move on. I'm from Newcastle, England. Do you people ever mind you sketching them? Yes, they do. And I've already explained that in my answer and what I do to help myself and help them understand why. I am completely new to sketching. What is the minimum things to buy to get through Sketchers Week? You need a pencil, a sketchbook, and an eraser. Most basic. I'm going to repeat. You need a pencil, sketchbook, and eraser. Boom. Everything else is a bonus. And if you can, get a cutter, because I use a cutter to sharpen the pencil. It's like a Stanley knife, you know. So, because the pencils, we wear them out so crazily. And if you can get a stump, add that, because sometimes we soften things. And what do I mean by the stump? It's like it's like I'm just gonna look for one of my stumps here. Hopefully I can find one. Yeah, I've got it right here. So this is like a stump. It's just like paper, all wound together. And when you rub it on the surface, I'm going to show you. Well, change cameras now. So, for instance, if I wanted to soften anything here, I'll just go like that, and you can see what happens. It gives you a nice tone. Look at that, lovely. So we'll be watching and learning how we go through all this. Someone says, are Sketch Week classes recorded and available if one can't attend? Definitely. But there's a time limit to it, though. There's a time limit. So Sketch Week will happen from the 11th of August to the 15th. But there would be at least, I think, an opportunity for you to still watch it maybe for a week. And after that, it vanishes. So yes, if you can't make it, every one of them is recorded. You can still catch up. Someone is saying, what make... Oh, sorry. Someone said, I love babies, but how do you keep them looking like babies instead of toddlers? Yeah, so the secret to every kind of sketching babies or toddlers or adults or teenagers or whoever or whatever, the key thing is to observe. And yeah, the key thing is to observe. Observation is the key thing. Why do I say this? The when you train your eyes and you're not working from imagination, when you train your eyes and you're not working from imagination, you will train your eyes to see things and represent them as they are. So there's no little trick to things. The one thing that happens to us when we sketch, which we will get over with practice, is sketching things that we do not see. That's why you'll often hear people say, sketch what you see and not what you think. Okay? I hope that helps. The next one, someone says, what make is the ballpoint pen? It's Bic, B-I-C, B-I-C. And then the brown one is Papermate. So because the brown Bic ones are very rare, but you can get the brown Papermate definitely from Amazon. Right. Will you show how to sketch hands in Sketch Week? If the figure has hands in one of the areas I'll be sketching, definitely I will be doing that. Because we're going to work on figures and stuff. Okay. Someone says, do you think sketching helps all art? I create landscape and abstract work. Yeah, definitely. Landscapes. Again, I'll show you something we did from last year. I'm going to change cameras. I mean, this is a landscape we did Sketch Week the last time we did it. And it's still the same thing. People would know how to sketch something like this, and people will learn how to sketch something like that. So, boy, why not? Abstract work, definitely. All comes in handy. So you will never be without the skills. The skills will help you. as a complete beginner, how best to start without being disappointed with the outcome. Yeah, just do the outlines, just do line work. That's how to start. Line work, go for the line work. That's gonna really help you when you start off. And when I say line work, the outline, you would have seen that a lot in my sketches where I just do an outline, the simple line, the contour of an object. That's what will help you. Someone has said, is the price for Sketch Week in US dollars? Well, it's also in British pounds and the equivalent of any currency you use. But just to let you know, in dollars, it's $13. In pounds, it's $10. So you can't miss it. It's a bargain, bro. Someone has said here, how do you get confident enough to draw in pen? I have been on graphite my entire life. Well, the thing about mediums in art is you just got to experiment. By the time you start experimenting, you're going to find out that, something that you never knew could work will start to work. So you've got to try all things. Don't just stick to one. Experiment with pen, colored pencil, water. Just go for different things, and you're going to find out how they feel. And if it feels right, you might just change or have another medium that suits you. Right. Okay. How can you ask to sketch sleeping passengers? I don't ask at all. If I asked people before I sketched them, I would never have one sketchbook full of sketches, not to talk of the hundreds I've got. Look, I just go about sketching. And because I know I'm not doing anything wrong, that's why I say when people ask me, before I start explaining, I hand the sketchbook over to them and I tell them why I do it. And most people are happy with what I see. Do you ever use graphite gloves, as I call them? Cover pinky and side of the hand from smearing? No, but I've heard people that use them and it comes in handy, but I don't worry. I don't mind getting my hands messy. Right. Do you, you work from life, but for those of us who are less able to get about to do that, would you mind if we use photographs? Definitely. In Sketch Week, I use photographs. Listen, whether you sketch from life or photographs, the techniques are all the same. I always tell people that. Some people don't believe me, but this sketch I did here is from a photograph. And then you're going to see sketches that are not from a photograph, like the ones I showed you here. Whether you sketch from life, whether it's from life or whether it's from pictures, the key thing is, you know what the key thing is? Just keep sketching. Sketch, sketch, sketch. Draw, draw, draw. You can't get it wrong. So, yes, definitely, they are allowed. All right. Will the course include color sketches and not only of people, but of landscapes? Right. So, everything we're going to use in Sketch Week will be in graphite pencil, not colored sketches, but we're not only going to do people, we're going to do landscapes and we're going to do animals. Hope that helps. Can beginners do Sketch Week? Yeah, if you're good at drawing shapes, because everything we do starts with a shape. So if you're good at doing basic shapes as a beginner, yes. But as a beginner, if you cannot do shapes, sorry, mate, it's not for you. And when I say shapes, I mean like ellipses, circles, squares, triangles, angular marks. If you can do that, it's for you. Can you give the time spent on a range of your sketches? They all range from 1 minute to 30 minutes, depending on how long the person I'm sketching is there. For instance, you can see here, That one wouldn't have, because I couldn't complete the face. The person's moved on. And then you have another one. That would go from 5 to 7 minutes because the person stayed there. That one looks even more detailed, so it's most likely that was from Woolwich to Cannon Street, which is longer journey, about 30 minutes, so it looks more accomplished, as you can see. So I hope that helps. Let's go again. Can you give the time? Okay, I've done that one. Will we also? No charcoal in Sketch Week. I hardly use charcoal in my sketches because it's messy, and you use it on one page, it will mess up the next. Boy, I have a hard time with graphite, not to talk about charcoal. So no charcoal in Sketch Week. Do you set yourself time limits? No. The time is dependent on the person I'm sketching, because on transport, people have limited time they spend on transport. So if I'm lucky and the person is going to be on the train for a full hour, I'm blessed that day. I'm blessed. But if they're only going to be there for 2 minutes, then that's what would determine the duration of the sketch. Is this the kind of thing you need? Talent, a gift for, or can people really learn with a lot of practice? Well, I'm always what I always tell people is this. You have to have the mindset that, one, you have got talent. You just have it at the back of your head. But talent without hard work never help no man. All right? Why am I raking up all these sketchbooks? I could just rely on talent, but it will floor me. So everyone, just believe you've got the basic ingredient. But just having that basic ingredient without practice, forget it. So anyone who doesn't believe they have talent, then that's going to affect you, because what you're going to be saying is, oh, if only I had the talent. So just believe you've got it and then start practicing. That's the way around it. Right. Do you use apps like Photoshop or Procreate? Yes, I use Procreate to teach. And the reason why, I like to make marks. I will show you. I like to make marks on anything I'm working on. So, and that's how I teach the sketching. So I'm going to show you an image right here that I have actually used Procreate to make marks on the image, and then you can see how that would help people to know what angles I'm doing. So I'm going to just show this now right here. So I'm going to show the camera. So I wanted to show people how to sketch this in my school. So this was done in Procreate. I will be putting all these lines around the portrait. Why am I doing that? Because I want them to be able to know what I'm doing. So yes, very good question. I use Procreate. Can you talk about how you lay out the sketchbook pages and deciding how to use the space? Okay, so there's no particular order, you know. I just, and I'm going to change cameras now. Once I see a blank page, I just start from somewhere, like here. Like in this case, I would have started with this guy, and then this guy, and then that guy, and then that girl, and then any spaces in between, because I want to make sure I make the best of the sketchbook. I don't want to leave spaces. I want my money's worth, bruv. I want my money's worth. So I will be using all the spaces possible in the sketchbook. So no particular order. Just do it and make sure I fill up all the spaces. I'm concentrating on sketching landscapes and for translating into paintings. Will the other days of the landscape week be useful? Definitely. Yes, it will be useful. Landscapes, definitely. Do you teach sketch each day? If so, for how long? Yeah. So the sketching will be, the demo will be for 1 hour, and 30 minutes will be for the question and answers at the end. Would you recommend water soluble pencils? Yeah, if you can use them, why not? Go for it. I think they're good. It's just that I'm not using them in Sketch Week. But anything that works for you, by the way, will be good. Will you be covering drawing to scale? I wouldn't call it drawing to scale, but when I sketch, all I want people to understand is how to look at something and how to represent what you're looking at to the best of your ability and to the best of the proportion that you can get. Should I choose one line of drawing or go and try? Should I choose one line of drawing or go on and try everything? Okay, so someone says, should I choose one line of drawing or go on and try everything? You can try one line of drawing. Yeah, that's good. And then as we go along in Sketch Week, you're going to find out what suits you. But we always start with a line drawing before we add tone anyway. I hope that helps. Apart from size, what's the main differences between sketchbooks? Sorry if I missed an explanation. There's so many differences in sketchbooks. The main ones I can tell you are, apart from size, the paper. I like thick paper. I don't want the paper to be too light that when I put a mark on it, it would tear and rip. I like to do washes with the Tombow markers, and that I don't want it to bleed through the other side. So I use very good paper in my sketchbook. So what makes the difference also is whether the paper is rough or smooth. I prefer smooth paper because I want to create the rough marks myself. I don't want textures. Other people may. That's just me. For the first sketchbook, what do you recommend? For the first sketchbook, what do you recommend? The first sketchbook, if you can get a Moleskine sketchbook, it's quality. It's quite pricey, but that would be what I would say. And let it be an A4 for Sketch Week. If you can't get that, just get any other one and let's do it. Is live sketching easier than something still? No, something still is easier than life, because life, there's moving, it's more exacting, it's more testing, it's more it's a little bit more, it would take more from you. You're gonna have to really put your mind to it. But if something is still, you've got more time, you can take your time and go for it. So please, 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 for those of you who have watched this, you're gonna get an email with the recording. Don't forget to register. There will be a link in the comment section of this post in YouTube. Click on the link, register for Sketch Week. Don't miss it, guys. You people all over the world, ever since I've started Sketch Week, I've been able to share these skills with over 10,000 artists out there. Be one of them. Make sure you do this and you'll be thanking me for it, guys. I'm telling you, you will be thanking me for it, because this is a skill that can get you, I can tell you what, it can get you places. It will improve your painting. You can become a teacher like myself. You will be able to do better work and sell them because the work is good, it's sound, it's proportional, it's right. You'll be able, I could take you on the benefits of sketching. It's just crazy. It's good. So register, buy it for people, buy it for your friend, buy it for your neighbor, buy it for that student you think has got the thing, but they can even produce better. Go share this gospel message. We want everyone out there to be able to sketch to the best of their ability And that's why you've got the addictive sketcher right here to help you. So I have got 3 more minutes in this gig, and I'm just going to look through the questions to see. But in the absence of that, you've been sent an email, and please, if you haven't registered, there will be a link to register. Also in the email, the link will also be there. Do not miss it. I'm just going to go through the questions. Someone asked, what is a cutter? This is a cutter. You must have seen them. And this is what I use to sharpen my pencils. We'll be doing a lot of that during Sketch Week. I think, okay. No, I have covered all these. All these. Yep. Yep, I can see. Okay. Someone has said in the last few minutes we have, I'm curious, can you explain why you write in the sketchbook? What does it do for you? Very good question. Let's go to a typical sketchbook and then we'll be able to see what I'm writing. Right, so first of all, I like to write where I started the sketch and where I finished. And then also I might write how I felt about the sketching that day or any quote that comes to my mind. So I will use this as an example. I've written here, your world is a reflection of the mental attitude of yourself, you know. So the way you feel about yourself, that's how the world will be, you know. So this one I also says, as a person thinks in their heart, they will act in their life. So what I'm trying to say there is how you think is how you will act. These are just things come to my mind. It could be motivational. Some of them could be, I would say, creativity plus intelligence. I just write these things. Anything that comes to my mind. How do they help me? Number one, I'm a big, massive writer. I write a lot. It's just like sketching. It's second nature to me. I like to write things from my heart, and I like to write what I'm thinking. And I think writing is an art in itself, and it also makes the page look interesting. So, you know, I've put here, we have multiple intelligences. I've put another one that says all creation is waiting. Maybe I can't see because I've drawn over it, but I must have written all creation is waiting, maybe for us to sketch them. I can't remember. So I've also written here, we naturally don't sow long enough. What I mean by that is that in the sowing process, like when you sow seeds, before you get the harvest, a lot of us don't put in the hard work long enough. It's me thinking about, you know, life. So a lot of these will come up. Somebody's asked the question, will you be using different photos than last year? Definitely, guys. There's a different set of photos that we'll be using for Sketch Week this time around. So finally, thank you everyone for joining in. It's just been a journey through my sketchbooks, how I go about it, what I do with it, blah, blah, blah. I tell you what, it might help somebody out there. Be inspired, keep sketching, show them, let it be something that would change your year. This is the second half of the year, and you can gain a new habit that would take you places. So don't forget, Sketch Week is £10 to register, $13 to register. An email will be sent to you. There will be a link. You can register right now. I think you should do it right now. It will be in the comment section of this YouTube video, and you will enjoy it. Wishing you a wonderful Friday and a great weekend ahead. Thank you, guys. God bless.